Now, a Mexican citizen convicted of attempting to smuggle 18 undocumented immigrants across the border has been sentenced to federal prison before crashing the SUV they were in and killing 6 people. He's been sentenced to federal prison. 30-year-old Ivan Moreno receiving a 10-year sentence for that crime. It happened in June of last year. Again, they crashed the SUV they were in near Robstown, killing 6 people inside. Word is he will be deported once his time has been served.